So I was watching Paragliding Talk with Robert Michaels last night, and there were some guys over at Aviator Lake Wales broadcasting from the RV. Looks like they're having a bit of a fly-in over there. I think I'm going to make a trip over there. But the weather's going to be beautiful. I got a nice tailwind, so I should get there pretty quick. No, I think that's a lot of wind resistance there. Plus it makes me look old. Let's do this. Oh, that's better. Nice clean haircut. And now that's a cross-country beard if I've ever seen one. Let's do this. What's up, guys? PPG Gorilla. So I just got back from a nice cross-country from my home airport of Wauchula up to Aviator PPG, Lake Wales. It was a sweet ride, about 31 miles. So I decided to put together a little video about the planning process and what I went through to come up with this flight. As far as the route planning, the airspaces, the weather, everything. So I really enjoyed the planning part of it. It took me back to my private pilot days. I used a method called dead reckoning, where you fly a compass heading and you plot landmarks along your course from one to the other, and you fly between those. Now I did have the PPG GPS app running. That was very helpful. It shows me my altitude and my airspeed, and I use the Garmin Pilot's Watch as a backup. So I used that stuff too, but I really used the dead reckoning and just flying from visual landmark to landmark. So it was really cool. I hope you guys enjoy this, and some of you new guys that are getting into cross countries, I hope it helps you out with your planning and your process. All right, guys, thanks. Check it out. So I started out with just a basic overview of my flight. Google Earth is a good source for this. You can see satellite maps and just get an idea of your route, and you can plot it out and see what the distance is. This way you can see if you have to fly over any towns or anything that you don't particularly want to fly over. Next was check the sectional chart and look at airspaces. See if there are any restricted airspaces I need to avoid, anywhere I'm not allowed to fly. You'll notice on this one there is a MOA, the Lake Placid Military Operations Area. It lies adjacent to the Avon Park bombing range. As you can see here, Lake Wales lies right in the middle of this military operating area. Further to the right or to the east, there is a restricted area. That's the actual bombing range where you're not allowed to fly over that at all. The MOA means that there may be fast-moving military aircraft in the area transitioning in and out of the range. The Air Force is nice enough to publish these routes the way they fly into and out of the range, but what that means is be on the lookout for fast movers at any altitude at any time. So my takeoff point was my usual stomping grounds, my home airport of Wauchula. My first landmark was about 6 or 7 miles to the north. I picked out this junior high school. It had kind of a strange symmetrical shape and figured I couldn't miss it. Here it is from the air. Checkpoint number 1 achieved. I picked out this location for a point of no return. It was a little bit less than halfway, but this was a good spot where I could land if the winds picked up or something wasn't quite right. This was a good place to land before I got into the strip mines and everything, where there weren't a lot of good places that were easy to access from the road. I scoped this out again on Google Earth using Street View. I don't know how current these pictures are, but for when this was taken, it looked like a pretty good landing area. No fences, there were power lines there, but it was right alongside of the road, so it would have been an easy egress if needed. Next was the Paynes Creek Historic State Park. It's pretty easy to see. There's a river and a lot of greenery there. After that, I'm into strip mine territory for the next 8 or 10 miles. My next checkpoint was this holding pond with the 45-degree angle shore that kind of followed my track. Here it is for real. You can see that the pond is mostly dried up, but you can't miss that angle. It just is different than everything else. So I knew I was on track. Once I crossed out of strip mine country and back into orange groves, my next landmark was Lake Buffum. It's a pretty huge lake and you can't miss it from the air. I just skimmed along the edge of it and continued to the northeast. By the time I crossed Lake Buffum, I had the airport in sight. It was 8 more miles, but it was an easy ride. So the planning part was the easy part. You do all that planning and have it in your back pocket. Then you got to watch the weather and wait for the window that you want to make the flight successful. I'd been watching it for a week or so, and the forecast was up and down, but in general, the winds were calling for blowing from the south to the north or southwest to southeast, which is in the direction of my destination. The morning of my flight, the winds were forecast at 5 miles an hour out of the south. Perfect. Checking the winds aloft, I found the winds at 500 feet to be 10 miles an hour, and then at 1,000 to 1,500 feet, 13 miles an hour, heading perfectly in the direction I wanted to travel. Fortunately, I have guerrilla ground support, my dad following along in the truck. We were in radio communication the whole time. With that type of headwind, on the way back, I don't think I would have made it, so this was a one-way cross-country. That made it very nice. Thanks a ton to Guerrilla Ground for your support. So I really ended up getting to my destination a lot faster than I would have liked to. I really enjoyed the flight. I'd like for it to last a little bit longer. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I hope this helps some of you new guys out that are maybe planning your first cross-country like this one was for me, or my first long cross-country. So throw me a like. Let me know if you liked it or not. All right, guys, Gorilla out.